You're listening to Active Vegetarian, episode 70. Hello and welcome to the Active Vegetarian Show, the plant-based eater's guide to fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. To discover how to fit healthy plant-based eating into your life and for practical fitness advice, visit us at activevegetarian.com. We're your hosts, Nikki and Susanna, so let's get started.
It's beautiful outside.
It's gorgeous. And we are inside recording a podcast for all of you listeners.
Woo! It's going to be a short one today because I'm eager to go outside.
Yes, it's beautiful.
We're not going to rush it, but we're going to give you all the important information and the tools and the action steps on how to create your own easy plant-based meal plan.
Hopefully, while you're listening to this podcast, you are outside and you are enjoying some beautiful weather wherever you are, and you can take in all this information we're going to give you. What are we talking about today?
So plant-based meal planning, easy plant-based meal planning. I think meal planning is one of those things, I have mixed feelings about it personally. On one hand, I see the benefit because I think anybody who is first starting on either healthy lifestyle or plant-based lifestyle or what have you, having a meal plan is a great tool. It really helps us understand what we should be eating. It teaches us how to time our nutrients and so on. On the other hand, I find that always relying on a meal plan takes away the creativity. It doesn't allow us to listen to our body for what it needs, and we are just basically sticking to something that somebody else put.
It limits us.
It limits us, yes. Let's just put it that way. But I think the benefit is there, and in a sense of that if you're new to plant-based eating, I think having a good quality meal plan can be a huge help.
I think, like you said, in the aspect of understanding and starting to learn how to build a meal plan, because when you are putting something into practice and following a meal plan, you're going to start to understand and you're going to start to see the patterns of how to do it and what to create. And I think that's where meal plans can come in really handy, is starting to see the patterns and then starting to experiment on your own and starting to use those more as a guide than
as a learning
relying
tool.
on them.
I think that's a great point, Nick. I think meal plan already set in place. Meal plan can be a great learning tool. And on our website, we have 8 free plant-based meal plans available for anybody who is ready to dive into plant-based eating, which is wonderful. And again, I encourage anybody to download them, to follow them, and eventually start using them as an inspiration to create your own meal plan. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is how you create your own meal plans. And first, we're going to start with those 5 most important benefits of why you should consider creating your meal plan. Okay, so first benefit is save time and stress. Can we expand on it, Nick?
Yeah, there's a misconception, I think, when people think about meal planning. There is this instant stress of like, oh, okay, that's a lot of time and it's effort. You know, I don't want to be doing that. But I feel like if somebody was to actually track down the amount of time that they're stopping at grocery stores randomly through the week, they're stopping to pick up some food, the amount of time it takes to park or find parking even, to go through the checkout, all of it, it's probably the same amount as what it takes to say, okay, I'm going to go get my groceries, I'm going to take time, I don't know if it's on like a Sunday or something, and I'm going to block off this time to prepare my meals for the week. It probably takes the same amount. So I think letting go of that and just experimenting and trying it for yourself, and it will, in the end, it will save you time and that stress of worrying about
what you're going
to be eating. Because I think that's what a lot of people don't even recognize, is how often we spend thinking about what we're eating next. Like we're eating breakfast and we're already thinking about what we're eating for lunch.
Now imagine that you have a meal plan and that thinking,
that stress is taken away
from you. Okay, benefit number 2 is save money. So you already touched on it a little bit. You know, the unnecessary time we might be spending driving to the store, parking, paying for parking, what have you. But on top of that, preparing majority of your meals at home can significantly cut down on the cost of food. Because if you normally pick up food on a go, if you do takeout, or if you eat out in a restaurant, easily for a meal for 2 people, you spend anywhere between $25 to $30. I cannot even imagine what it would be for a full family. Now, for that amount of money, you can prepare plant-based meals for 2-3 days, including your snacks. It always astonishes me, the fact that I go out for dinner and then the bill comes. I'm not a cheap person by any means, but when I look at the bill and I'm thinking, wow, what could I have done with that amount of money and prepare the food myself? Now, I'm a little bit different because I actually enjoy time in the kitchen and I enjoy the shopping process and I enjoy preparing. But think about it. Think about how much money you're already spending on food that you do not probably have to.
No, and I'm more of a visual person, so maybe for any listeners who are visual as well, if we are in a restaurant or something, often we'll eat like a salad or obviously some vegetable-based dish. So if you're eating this and you're paying, like anywhere to get a healthy salad now is minimum $10 you're paying for a bootable or a salad. Now, you can buy a huge thing of organic greens for like $6.99. How many salads, like I understand there's going to be vegetables on top of that, but really, how many salads can you make out of that box of greens?
It's convenience, so, right? You're paying for the convenience. Not to mention, that brings us to our next benefit, and that's you eat healthier when you meal plan and when you prep your food.
Yes, because you understand and you know exactly what ingredients are going into your dish. I think that's the biggest thing is when we eat out, we have no idea how much sodium they're putting into something. If you're buying it already prepared, and I put that in quotations, what are the preservatives that they're putting into it? If you are plant-based, then are they cooking your vegetables on a grill that hasn't had meat on it? Like, these are all things we have no idea, we have no control over. So when you are meal planning and you are preparing your own food, you know exactly what you're putting into it. And I am a huge believer of really understanding what it is you're putting in your body and where it's coming from.
Well put. Benefit number 4, no more wasting food. Anytime we work with our clients and if part of the work is to help them clean up their kitchen, going into their fridge and seeing what's in there often is like a little nightmare for me, because the amount of food some people store in their fridge, not even knowing it's there, and it ends up being a garbage.
Yeah, and it's not even just like condiments and that. It's often vegetables just rotten down in the crisper. A lot of pantry items as well are expired.
Right, because you go to the grocery store and whatever is on sale, you might buy it because you really don't know what you're going to be preparing. You don't know what you're going to be eating tomorrow or the day after. So you just buy it just in case.
Do we really need it? Are we really going to use it?
And if you have a meal plan, you're just going to buy the stuff that you need for the upcoming, let's say, 3, 4, 5 days. And you end up using it.
Mm-hmm. That's the greatest thing about it, is that when you meal plan, you are using often maybe the same vegetables in different dishes throughout the week. So if you had a little bit left over from a dish you made the night before, you can use that up the next day. Or you can take some leftover zucchini from a stew and put it in your salad, for instance. So I think it is great being able to plan and prepare and not waste any food. Next point it brings us to is it adds variety to our diet, or to our lifestyle, I should say. By having a meal plan, you're ensuring that you are getting a variety of vegetables, a variety of different proteins, everything that you need. You're getting that variety by seeing it on paper. Mm-hmm. And really, when it comes to eating in general, if we're not following a meal plan, we often go to our favorite things.
Mm-hmm. We are creatures of habit.
Exactly.
So we will have the same breakfast 3, 4, 5 days in a row.
7 days in a row even. And exactly. And we're not getting that variety. It's like going into the gym, and if you don't have a workout plan, well, you're going to do everything that you enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be doing those things that are going to allow you to grow and move forward. And it's the same as when it comes to meal planning. You're not going to be choosing those things that are going to give you the nutrients that you haven't been getting. So I think variety is super important, and we stress this with like having a variety of different types of exercises and ways of fitness. It's the same when it comes to your food. Variety is important in every area of life.
Now, understanding all these great benefits of meal planning, we hope we got you inspired and excited to create your own first meal plan. So where do we get started, Nick?
If you haven't already, download our 8 weeks of free and follow those. Follow them for 8 weeks. Start to see the patterns we're going to talk about, because everything we talk about today is what we're putting into those meal plans, the variety, all of it. But I think figuring out goals for yourself. So what are the goals? Is it cutting out processed foods? Is it perhaps losing weight? Is it maybe including more fruits and vegetables into your lifestyle, maybe even your family's lifestyle? So I think figuring out what the motivator is behind meal planning for you really is, and get started that way and not be so rigid and restricted.
All right. So number one step would be to check your schedule. Make sure that you know what the next few days are going to be like. So let's say that you decide to plan 1 week full of meal plans. So on Sunday, sit down and check what your schedule is going to be like. Are you going to have any late nights in the office? Do you have any dinner plans with your friends or your family? Do your kids have tons of activities and you will have to be driving around the whole afternoon and evening? And you might not. So on those nights, you might not have time to prepare a full elaborate meal. So make a note of it.
And I think on those busy days, like you were saying, if you do have tons of activities or your kids have lots of activities, then opt for those quick and easy, already prepared meals. Maybe use a crock pot that day, or maybe you've prepared a casserole type of dinner where you can throw it in the oven. Or even just a simple salad. I think if we always have the basic greens at home and we have some extra vegetables and things we can prepare for it, then it's okay just to have a nice large salad for dinner. However, if you're busy straight through the week, but you know on the weekends you have a little bit of extra time, then maybe that's when you want to experiment. You want to try new recipes, cook a nice big dinner for yourself or even you and your family on a Sunday evening or something. Just see what fits your schedule and work with that.
The next step is to start creating your meal plan. So get a pen and paper or a calendar, or even better, download one of our meal planning templates. So we have a free meal planning blank template that you can use. Just go to activevegetarian.com and download it. And before you start creating your meal plan, make sure to check your pantry and fridge just to see what might still be there from the week before.
Yes, because you want to be able to use whatever you have, not waste that food, and incorporate it. So even if it's random vegetables, maybe you're just going to have salad included in your first couple meals.
Yes, or if you have a head of cauliflower, you know that you want to plan a meal or a dish that includes cauliflower in it. It's that simple. So just kind of check what you have around the house and then gather some inspiration. So that could be done through a cookbook. I know a good one. It's called the Vegan Weight Loss Manifesto. No, seriously, there's tons of plant-based cookbooks on the market these days. So
and really good ones, yes.
Yes. The other option is go on websites, check out some blogs.
Yeah, there's so many amazing resources out there now. And I love it. I love how many opportunities there are for people to start to explore plant-based eating. And there's lots of sites like Minimalist Baker, Pinch of Yum, to Unconventional Baker by Audrey. There's so many. So start searching, start seeing what's out there and start using these. Oh She Glows is another one. Mm-hmm. So just go online and, if you type it in, you will find a huge library of different recipes.
Our suggestion to our clients is to plan for 3 meals, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and perhaps 1 to 2 snacks. And don't get overwhelmed. If you're new to planning your meals, maybe you start with only planning your dinners for now. But the goal would be 3 meals, 2 snacks.
And those snacks can be as simple as a piece of fruit or buying some good quality hummus and having some carrots or some other vegetables with them. So make it easy for yourself at the beginning. It doesn't have to be to the extent of making your own hummus and everything. Just make sure you check the ingredients, that it's good quality, and start to incorporate things like that.
Mm-hmm. Breakfast could be easy as well. Mm-hmm. Again, include variety into it. Chia seed puddings are amazing because you can make it even the night before. Overnight oats is another very simple one.
Some Ezekiel bread with avocado, that's the big hype now, but that's really easy as well.
So again, look for those inspirations Amazon, either in cookbooks or on different blogs, and just figure out something that you're gonna enjoy, what it's quick, convenient, and fits into your schedule. And before, we were talking about those busy nights during the week, so plan accordingly. If you know that you're gonna be out of the house most of the day, the night before, make a little extra, have leftovers, something you can take maybe for lunch to work, or you can even repurpose it for the dinner the next day.
There's a lot of things like soups and curries and that are easy to freeze. You can put it in a mason jar, have it in the freezers for those nights where you know you're going to be busy. The next morning, maybe just take it out, leave it in the fridge, let it thaw, and you just have to warm it up when you get home.
And honestly, don't overthink it. I always say salads are a wonderful option, and they usually don't take more than 5-10 minutes. If you're gonna make your own dressing, so maybe 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, you can have a delicious, nutritious dinner ready.
So now that you have planned your 3 main meals and your 2 snacks, what do we do now?
Well, it's true that meal planning can be a fabulous way to save money and time and improve your diet, but a list of meals to prepare does not exactly feed you, right? So what do we need to do next is to create a grocery list. We need to figure out what it is that we are gonna need for the upcoming, let's say, 7 days as far as groceries go, and go from there.
So this is something that you do for our AV coaching clients, Zeus. And any tips when you're creating the shopping list? Because it's a lot.
It is a lot
of work.
Yes. So number 1 tip, again, check what you already have on hand. Have some staple ingredients in your pantry always. Don't run out of them. I always find helpful to keep a notepad and a pencil in the kitchen. And as I'm running out or closer to running out with an ingredient, it could be, let's say, nutritional yeast, because that's something we use often, or flax oil, or anything we are eating on regular basis, I just write it down. So that way, when I am creating my grocery list, I pretty much already have some of those ingredients on it. And then go recipe by recipe and start writing those items down. It will take a little bit of time. That's okay. You can have like a blank template almost and just kind of write down the amounts of things you need. Because again, we are creatures of habit, and most of the time we are going to be sticking to certain amount of items. We're not gonna have to list 50 or 60 ingredients. We're probably gonna have about 20-30 staple ingredients on our shopping list.
So I think when you said about having a template, that's a good start, and I think using a pencil is even a better idea. So when you are starting to add up, how many carrots you need, then you can keep going back and erasing the previous number and just adding to it.
I know at the beginning it might sound pretty overwhelming and it might take some time, but it will get easier. It will get easier. So the more you do it, the better you're gonna become, just like with anything else.
All right, that's a good tip. Now, number 4, go shopping. So we have our list. Obviously, we need to go get the groceries.
Yes, and before you head out to the store, I would suggest that you clean up your fridge and your pantry. So I already mentioned, make sure that you check on your fridge, make sure that you check on the pantry if there's any leftover stuff from the previous week. Incorporate it into your upcoming meal plan. But at the same time, it's important to have a clean fridge. When you come home from the store, opening up the fridge and being able to put the items where they belong saves you time. It saves you headache too. So just wipe out the fridge, get rid of any leftovers that might still be there from the week before and they are no longer good, any expired items, any vegetables that no longer look good or appealing. Just get rid of it, clean up the fridge, clean up the pantry to get ready for the new fresh food that is going to come in. And then go to the market. And I will always say go to the market whenever you can, all by yourself. Because if you bring your kids along with you, your spouse along with you, we often get distracted and we often buy things that we might not need.
And I think a big thing that people do a lot of the times is they go to the grocery store hungry.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it.
I've done it myself and it's terrible. So make sure that you're not hungry when you are going out to get your groceries. And another tip is go early in the morning. Because when you are going first thing in the morning, often they restock overnight. So you're getting a lot of the good, fresh quality.
Yes.
And more likely, they'll have it on the shelf and ready for you if you need it.
Please don't forget your shopping list. That's another one. I've done it before. I got to the grocery store and I realized I didn't have my shopping list. So then you are probably buying things that you don't need and you're just guessing. Or you often forget some of the items that you might need. So please make sure that you have your shopping list.
So you know what I do sometimes? If I feel okay, I have a shopping list, but I might just forget it, I take a photo of it with my phone.
That's a very good idea. Then you have it on you.
And then okay, if I end up leaving it on the counter, then I have a photo of it at least. So take a photo of it, Another option is when you are making your list, make it right into your notes on your phone and just have it right directly on your phone if you have one.
Perfect. If you must make an impulse purchase, limit yourself to 1 or 2 items at most.
Which this could come across. I think if there's something new and enticing, somebody's going to want to try it. So maybe it's some healthy cracker that they want to have with their hummus or something. So I think just making sure that it's going to be able to be incorporated within your meal plan and be able to be used that week.
And we said make it efficient, but at the same time, once in a while, go to the grocery store when you have a little bit more time on your hand, and you can maybe look for those new items. What's exciting, what's new, check out the labels and read the ingredients, just kind of educate yourself in a grocery store.
And we're talking a lot about grocery stores right now. Maybe it's because it's more of a winter season, but if you have a winter market, definitely hit up any farmer's market, especially in the summertime. So support local farmers or any local co-ops, get all your produce, and even any of the extra stuff sometimes you can find there too. So just making sure that you're supporting locals, eating good quality fruits and veggies.
Yes, and if you are somebody who is busy and have a hectic schedule, I would suggest to stick to 2 or 3 grocery stores or markets. That way you know those stores well, you know where things are located, you're not trying to look and search for items.
I think of my mom as soon as you say this, because whenever I'm visiting her and I'm in Ontario and we go to get some items, it's like we go to 20 different stores and I'm like, why are we not just buying it all here? And I think it's that mentality of like, well, it's cheaper here, it is cheaper there, and I'm like, the amount of money you spend in the gas to drive around to pick it up. So I think when you want to save time, you want to save money and energy, then stick to a few grocery stores like you said.
All right, so step number 5, prep in advance. When you get home from the store, consider what you can do in advance. So obviously we are going to unpack our groceries, we are going to put them in a fridge, we are going to put this stuff in a pantry. But what can we do to actually set ourselves up for success for the upcoming week?
I think if you are doing your grocery shopping on the same day as when you want to do your prep, then it's a great time to get started on it. And we do have another podcast and another article on our website that's based all on meal prepping. So in that article and in that podcast, we talk about how to meal prep.
Yes, it's an animal all on its own.
Is.
You really have to take the time to listen to it and get into it, because meal prepping saves you, again, a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's worth it, but
we think it is a lot of time and a lot of energy, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And not to be so nitpicky. Like, if you're cutting up vegetables, don't be so precise that they're all the same size or something. I think just get in there and do it. Get it done. Be efficient with it. And eventually, you'll find that it doesn't take really that much time.
Yes, so making your own meal plan goes hand in hand with meal prep. And we are going to link our podcast and our article to this article. So the meal prepping article is going to be part of this. So feel free to go to our website, Active Vegetarian, and you can continue listening to another podcast that will tell you all about meal prep. Now, before we let you go, we have extra tips for putting your meal plan into practice.
Pick a specific day and time to create your weekly meal plan. Seriously, you need to schedule it on your calendar and stick to it. Otherwise, you just won't do it. When you first get started, it might take you 30 minutes to an hour. But again, just like with prepping meals, over time, it's going to get easier and it's going to be way more efficient and take a lot less time. And be sure to pick a day and a time to do your shopping.
Speaking of shopping, plan to go to the grocery store only once a week. This helps you manage your time better and can help you stick to your meal plan and really use up all the food that you already bought.
Prioritize your spending. When your grocery store budget is fixed, then you need to prioritize. You might not be able to buy everything you want, but you would be surprised what you can do without. For instance, if you're making a dish and you didn't buy olives to put on top of it or to go in it, are you really going to miss the olives? So I think just understanding and thinking about those things. Is it really essential? Is it a staple part of the recipe? Do you have to buy it?
Utilize leftovers. One of the easiest and most common time-saving strategies is to intentionally plan for leftovers. Simply double an entire recipe, cook it, then refrigerate it or freeze it for the leftovers for the future. So in general, soups, stews, casseroles, and curry dishes make excellent leftovers. feel free to use Crock-Pot and really make a huge pot of, let's say, chili, then divide it into servings, and you are set for, let's say, the next 3-4 meals ahead.
And I think this comes to a point that we didn't talk about earlier, but when you are planning your meals or planning your week ahead, this comes into play, whereas whatever you're having for dinner, maybe have it for lunch the next day. And you'll start to see these patterns if you do follow our free 8-week meal plans, where we start to use things again, because let's face it, a lot of people eat leftovers. It's not a terrible thing. So I think just understanding how to use it, or like you said, freeze it for another time. If you're a person that can't eat the same thing 2 days in a row, then freeze it and have it another time.
And this might go against what we said before, is the variety, but look at the variety in a long period of time. What are you eating over a course of 4-6 weeks, rather than what are you eating this week? So if this week you're gonna have a chili 3 times, don't panic. Just next week, cook something different.
And again, be real with your social life and come back to that schedule. Check in, see what you have planned for the week, see if you are going to be going out for dinner with friends or family, if you have kids' activities going on. And if you are more of a spontaneous person, leave a few nights where it's going to be just open to grabbing something to eat or going out with some friends or something. But just make sure that you're making healthy choices when you do that.
And this one is a big one. Take time to appreciate and enjoy the food you make. This is the simplest, yes, I believe the most important step when it comes to meal planning and really eating healthy. When you sit down at the meal you just prepared, take a couple of seconds to think about all the love, the effort, and the work that went into that dish.
And that's a beautiful thing, that when you do start to create your own meals, you've had the connection with that food right from the beginning. And again, you know what's going into it, and you know if it was good, happy energy as you were cooking it. Because when it comes to thinking about Ayurvedic, more of an Eastern approach, they really believe in the energy that goes into our food, how it really affects us. So you can look at it to that extreme, of course.
And turn all the distractions off, even if it's for 5 minutes. Just no cell phones, no computers, no books, no magazines. Just really pay attention to your food, appreciate it, enjoy it, and savor it.
The bottom line is that we really want to emphasize that meal planning doesn't have to be difficult or stressful. It can be fun and it can be really enjoyable. If you follow these steps that we've shared with you today, it can help you better plan your week without feeling overwhelmed, discouraged. It will allow you to choose healthier options, and it really will free up time for you.
All right, so just quickly summing it up, we have free meal plans, 8 weeks of free meal plans available on activevegetarian.com. If you wish to get started with meal planning, that's a good place to be. Download them, use them. We also have a meal planning template. So if you're one of those people who is ready to take this adventure and start creating their own meal plans, you have a blank template and you can just be as creative as you want. So use that one as well.
And we will be including that in the bottom of the post for this podcast on activevegetarian.com. And as well, when we talked about referencing and getting creative and finding different resources, I'll also list a few of those resources I was mentioning earlier in the podcast.
All right, so that's it. We appreciate you listening to us. It's still sunny and it's still beautiful outside. Let's go out. Let's enjoy the sunshine. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Active Vegetarian Show, the plant-based eater's guide to fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. For more information, including recipes, nutritional advice, fitness tips, and coaching, please stop by activevegetarian.com. Until then, live active, live healthy, and enjoy life.